It's December 31, 2025. Day 365 of this year. The final countdown has begun, and what's building for the next 2 weeks will fundamentally change how you experience winter. Here's the headline nobody's talking about yet. A colossal temperature reversal is loading up. We're looking at 15 to 25 degrees above normal, spanning from the Mexican border all the way to the Canadian prairies, from the Wasatch Mountains clear across to the Cumberland Plateau. But there's a critical piece of information at minute 4 that flips the entire forecast on its head. Before we dive into that bombshell, we need to address the immediate crisis unfolding right now across the eastern third of the nation. Because the next 90 minutes could determine whether you make it home safely tonight or spend New Year's Eve stranded on a frozen interstate. Intense snow squalls are organizing across the Ohio Valley at this very moment. These aren't your garden variety flurries. We're talking about explosive convective snowbursts, the meteorological equivalent of a whiteout ambush. Pennsylvania is in the target zone. Western New York is bracing, and the atmospheric setup is frankly alarming. Let me paint the picture of what's developing. There's a razor-sharp squall line expected to materialize over Chicago around 5 p.m. Central Time. Picture a solid wall of white advancing like a tsunami. Visibility drops from 10 miles to 100 feet in under 90 seconds. This thing hammers Fort Wayne next. Then it clips the southwestern suburbs of Detroit. But here's what makes this different from typical lake effect. This is a frontal boundary intensifying as it interacts with the Great Lakes. Cleveland and Fort Wayne, you're looking at what meteorologists call thundersnow conditions. That's 5 to 10 minutes of the most intense snowfall rates you'll see all season. We're talking 2 to 3 inches per hour. Intermittent blizzard conditions, and that's the technical definition, meaning sustained winds over 35 miles per hour with visibility under a quarter mile. Columbus gets slammed right around midnight. Perfect timing to ruin New Year's celebrations. Pittsburgh, same story, same time frame. The lakes start clearing around midnight. Now Indianapolis, here's where it gets tricky for you. You're sitting right on the rain-snow line. That means you're getting a wicked mix. Liquid precipitation hitting pavement that's rapidly cooling. Within 30 minutes, black ice develops, the most dangerous road conditions possible because you can't see it forming. And here's the development that caught my attention in the models. This system doesn't just fade away. The energy pushes aggressively southward. Charleston, West Virginia gets hit between 4 and 5 a.m. Then the whole thing phases with Atlantic moisture. When two storm systems merge like this, they intensify. A deepening low-pressure system spins up off the coast. Cape Cod, you're in for a surprise. Boston, same deal. Tracking up toward coastal Maine, you're looking at accumulating snow. St. John, New Brunswick, and the extreme eastern tip of Maine could see some serious snowfall. We're talking potentially 6 to 10 inches in the heaviest bands. But listen, that's just the opening act. The real story, the headline that matters for the next 72 hours, is the absolutely relentless lake effect snow machine that's about to bury portions of the Great Lakes snowbelt under multiple feet of fresh powder. South of Buffalo, some locations are staring down the barrel of 23 inches of additional accumulation. Let me repeat that, 23 inches. That's on top of what you already have on the ground. We're talking nearly 2 feet of fresh snow piling up between now and Saturday morning. Other areas south of Buffalo, you're looking at 14 inches. West of Toronto, 13 inches likely. Western Michigan, the totals drop off, but you're still seeing 3 to 4 inches west of Kalamazoo. Northern Lower Michigan, tack on another 8 inches to your existing snowpack. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan, you're getting hammered with over a foot, maybe 15 inches in the persistent lake effect bands that set up perpendicular to Lake Superior's fetch. Now, for most people outside these lake effect zones, you're looking at maybe an inch from tonight's quick-hitting squall. Nothing major, unless you happen to live in the higher elevations. And this is important. The panhandle of Maryland, the ridges of Pennsylvania, the high country of West Virginia, you're looking at over 8 inches possible. Why? Because you're getting squeezed by upslope enhancement. The atmosphere is wringing out every bit of moisture as it climbs those mountains. Now buckle up, because what happens with temperatures over the next 24 hours is borderline extreme. Tomorrow morning, Milwaukee hits 0 degrees Fahrenheit. North of Madison, 0. Minneapolis, you're looking at 0 or potentially sub-zero readings. Northern Minnesota, the forecast has you at -5. But here's the kicker. These are raw temperatures. Factor in the wind, and we're talking wind chills of -20 or colder. That's the threshold where exposed skin can develop frostbite in under 10 minutes. Lexington, Kentucky, you drop to 30 degrees tomorrow morning. Now, why does that matter? Because any snow or rain that falls tonight from that frontal passage is going to freeze solid. St. Louis to Indianapolis to Columbus, you're all forecast to hit 15 degrees by tomorrow morning. Everything ices over. Sidewalks become skating rinks. Roads develop that thin glaze that's nearly invisible but absolutely treacherous. Upstate New York, you're dealing with brutally cold air. But you're practically tropical compared to our friends north of the border. Parts of Canada are seeing -25 degrees Fahrenheit as a raw temperature reading. No wind chill factored in yet. That's life-threatening cold. That's the temperature where car batteries fail, water lines freeze, and anyone caught outside faces serious danger within minutes. But now we arrive at the strange turn that's got meteorologists scratching their heads. While the eastern two-thirds of the nation is locked in this deep freeze, the western third is doing the exact opposite. Pacific moisture is flooding into California, and we're not talking about gentle rain. We're talking about atmospheric river moisture, thunderstorms developing over Los Angeles, real, legitimate, rotating thunderstorms. The kind you'd expect in Oklahoma in May, not Southern California on New Year's Day. The intensity of this system ramps up dramatically tonight and continues escalating through Friday. Burn scar areas are staring down 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. And when you dump that much water on soil that's been scorched and has zero absorption capacity, you get debris flows. That's why evacuations are already underway in multiple communities. This is a high-impact, potentially life-threatening situation for parts of Southwest California. Tomorrow, we're forecasting actual supercell thunderstorms moving through the greater Los Angeles metropolitan area. These storms have rotating updrafts. They're capable of producing tornadoes, and before you think that's impossible, remember what happened on Christmas Day. A legitimate tornado touched down in Southern California. An EF-scale tornado. Now, we're looking at the potential for another one on New Year's Day. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a marginal risk for severe weather. That includes Santa Clarita and Long Beach. The timing is absolutely critical here. The heaviest rainfall and the peak severe weather risk occurs New Year's morning extending through midday. That means the Rose Parade is going to be incredibly wet and potentially dangerous. These storms aren't just bringing tornado risk. They're packing tremendous straight-line winds, 50 to 60 mile-per-hour gusts possible. That means widespread power outages are likely. Trees coming down, power lines snapping. And remember, the soil is already saturated from the Christmas storm system. That means trees uproot easier. The root systems are compromised. We've got a slight risk for flash flooding across the region. Mudslides are a serious concern. Debris flows near recent burn scars are practically inevitable with this much rainfall. The transverse ranges are particularly vulnerable. If you're in an area that's been given evacuation orders, please take them seriously. Debris flows move faster than you can run. They develop with almost no warning. Now, I want to show you the pattern evolution that's going to dominate the entire month of January, because what we're seeing right now is just the transition phase. After tonight's flash freeze event, after this final Arctic blast, we undergo a massive pattern flip. The entire continental flow reverses. But here's the detail that matters. This warm-up doesn't initiate until approximately January 5th, so we've got several more days of cold to endure first. This warm-up is going to melt significant portions of the snowpack we're building right now, especially around the Great Lakes region where we're measuring snow in feet, not inches. Take a look at the model guidance for the period after January 8th. Notice all this activity that starts popping up, trough after trough after trough diving southward out of Canada. Cold air is going to try to win this battle. But warm air is going to fight back aggressively. And when you get that kind of atmospheric warfare, that clash between air masses, you generate storm systems. Lots of them, powerful ones. Some regions are going to get absolutely buried in snow. Other areas are going to see significant severe weather outbreaks. Ice storms are definitely on the table. We could see major winter storms impacting the Midwest and Great Lakes. But here's the uncertainty. The exact track of these systems is still up for grabs. This could easily shift farther south and impact areas that typically don't see major winter weather. Let me get specific about what this means for different parts of the country because I'm seeing a lot of questions and concerns from various regions. Central Florida, you reported 31 degrees this morning, currently sitting in the low 40s. That's abnormally cold for you. Your citrus growers are concerned. Your tropical plants are stressed. The good news is this warm-up provides relief. You'll finally thaw out and get back to more seasonal temperatures. Southern Oklahoma, I'm hearing you're exhausted by the heat. It's late December and you're still running air conditioning some days. This pattern brings increased volatility. More dramatic temperature swings are coming. Unfortunately, it's not the stable, cold winter pattern you're hoping for. Western New York, specifically south of Buffalo, you've already picked up 5 inches since 7 a.m. this morning. The forecast calls for up to 24 inches by Friday, and historically, your area typically receives more snowfall than Buffalo proper due to the specific lake effect setup. This forecast verifies that historical pattern. Syracuse, New York, you just recorded the second highest 24-hour snowfall total in recorded history yesterday. The lake effect snow machine is operating at maximum capacity. Lake Ontario is still ice-free and relatively warm. That's fuel for continuous snow production. Canton, Ohio. Your temperature swing has been absolutely wild. You went from the low 60s to 2 degrees in a matter of hours. That's Ohio's notoriously volatile weather pattern on full display. Tomorrow morning's hard freeze locks everything in ice. Any moisture on roads, sidewalks, or surfaces freezes solid. Northeast Alabama, you're at 40 degrees mid-morning. You're finally climbing out of the 30s. This warm-up is going to feel wonderful for you. You'll actually get back above 50 degrees within days. Gulf Coast, Texas, specifically Brenham, you hit 27 degrees this morning. That's unseasonably cold. Your area isn't equipped for temperatures that low. Pipes are at risk. Plants are damaged. Relief arrives within the next few days as warmer air pushes in. Salt Lake City, you're experiencing the warmest winter on record. Your ski resorts are struggling. You desperately need sustained cold and snow. This pattern shift might eventually help, but this initial warm-up delays winter even further. It's a frustrating pattern if you're waiting for real winter. North Idaho, you've only experienced 3 legitimately winter-like days this entire season. That's problematic. Wildlife patterns are disrupted. Agriculture depends on winter dormancy periods. This isn't normal, and the pattern needs to correct itself. Kansas City area, you're seeing temperatures in the mid-60s today. Late December should be in the 30s. January brings more dramatic swings, but sustained cold still looks elusive. Now let me give you the technical meteorological breakdown of what's actually driving this pattern evolution, because understanding the mechanism helps you anticipate what comes next. The Climate Prediction Center's 6 to 10 day outlook clearly shows a massive upper-level ridge building over the Central Plains. This high-pressure system at the jet stream level forces the polar jet northward. That allows warm air to surge northward from the Gulf of Mexico and the desert southwest. This pushes temperatures 15 to 25 degrees above normal. The affected area stretches from the Rio Grande Valley all the way to the Sandhills of Nebraska, from the Wasatch Range clear across to the Appalachian Highlands, but this pattern doesn't fully materialize until January 5th. Between now and then, we've got more Arctic air to deal with, especially across the eastern two-thirds of the nation. The cold air is draining southward east of the Rockies. Then the warm-up initiates. The GFS model, that's the Global Forecast System, shows multiple distinct storm systems queuing up after January 8th. We're looking at the potential for severe weather outbreaks, ice storms across the transition zone where warm air overruns cold air at the surface. Major snow events are possible. potentially impacting the Midwest and Great Lakes. The volatility index is off the charts. This represents a major pattern flip. We're transitioning from tonight's flash freeze to a significant warm-up next week. Then, January appears highly active with multiple impactful weather systems. For those of you asking about specific locations that haven't been mentioned yet, let me address those. The Atlanta metro area, your climatology suggests the typical third week of January sometimes brings ice or snow events, usually brief, one-day occurrences. We're monitoring the pattern for that time frame. The setup could potentially favor a winter weather event for North Georgia. Northeast Texas, you're getting shortchanged on your typical winter weather. This pattern doesn't immediately help you. You'll need patience as we wait for a more favorable Arctic pipeline to develop. Middle Tennessee, snow chances have been minimal this season. The storm track continues to favor areas well north of you. This pattern doesn't immediately change that unfortunate reality for snow lovers in Nashville. North Carolina, you're experiencing the cold but missing the precipitation. This pattern keeps you right on the edge. Frustratingly close to winter weather, but not quite cold enough when moisture arrives. Georgia, outside the extreme northern counties, you're staying quiet. No major systems targeting your area in the immediate future. Southeast Iowa, you're desperately wanting snow. The problem is the track persistently favors areas north of you. You're stuck in that zone that's too far south for lake effect, too far north for Gulf moisture systems. Kansas, same predicament. The pattern simply doesn't favor you yet. You need a more amplified trough to pull moisture your direction with cold air in place. Spokane, Washington, you're waiting for snow. Your typical winter hasn't materialized. The Great Lakes are hoarding all the snow. You need the Pacific pattern to shift. Now here's exactly what you need to do right now based on your location. If you're driving anywhere tonight across the Ohio Valley, exercise extreme caution. That squall line is exceptionally dangerous. Visibility drops to near zero in 60 to 90 seconds. Traffic goes from highway speed to complete standstill. Multi-vehicle pileups become likely. If you encounter these conditions, do not stop on the roadway. Get completely off the road if possible. Check your primary and backup heating sources. Wind chills of -20 are life-threatening. Frostbite develops on exposed skin in under 10 minutes. Hypothermia becomes a risk in under 30 minutes. Livestock requires extra protection. Make sure water sources won't freeze. Animals can't survive without water access. California, if you're located in or near burn scar areas, take evacuation orders seriously. Debris flows develop rapidly. 2 to 4 inches of rain on scorched, non-absorbent soil equals extreme danger. These flows can move faster than you can run. They carry boulders, trees, and vehicles. There's no outrunning them. Evacuate early. Secure all outdoor items before the wind arrives. 50 to 60 mile-per-hour gusts will turn patio furniture into projectiles. Trampolines become airborne. Anything not tied down becomes a hazard. Power outages are likely across Southern California. Charge all devices. Have flashlights ready. Stock up on batteries. If you have medical equipment that requires power, make sure you have backup power solutions. For the Great Lakes snowbelt communities, if you're in persistent lake effect zones, prepare for multiple feet of snow. Not inches, feet. Some locations could see 3 feet of total accumulation by Saturday morning. Stock up on essentials now. Once lake effect bands establish, roads become impassable quickly. The localized nature of lake effect means you could have 2 feet of snow while your neighbor 3 miles away has 2 inches. The bands are that narrow and that intense. Make sure you have food, water, medications, and any essentials for at least 72 hours. Snow removal equipment should be serviced and ready. Have backup plans for heating if power fails. The short-term forecast beyond this system shows a quieter pattern. No major storm systems to track immediately. That's legitimately good news. Enjoy the warm-up when it arrives next week. Enjoy New Year's festivities, but do so safely, given tonight's weather hazards. But January is shaping up to be exceptionally active. Multiple storm systems appear likely. We're tracking the evolution closely. The pattern suggests well above normal precipitation for many areas. Whether that falls as rain, ice, or snow depends entirely on temperatures at the time. This pattern flip is real and significant. Flash freeze tonight, major warm-up initiating around January 5th, then a volatile, active January with multiple impactful systems. The key is preparation without panic. Understanding the forecast allows you to make informed decisions. Monitor local forecasts. Have multiple ways to receive warnings. Weather radios remain the most reliable. For tonight specifically, if you're traveling, leave extra time. Expect delays. Conditions deteriorate rapidly. The squall line timing is critical. Plan your route to avoid the worst timing. Tomorrow's hard freeze creates hazardous conditions that persist even after precipitation ends. Road treatments become less effective below 15 degrees. Salt doesn't work well in extreme cold. Sand provides traction but doesn't melt ice. For the California situation, remember that heavy rain doesn't automatically mean disaster. It means heightened awareness. Know your evacuation routes. Have a go bag prepared. Don't wait until the last minute. The month ahead brings change. Significant change. Temperature swings, active weather, multiple systems, but knowledge is power. Understanding what's coming allows proper preparation. Stay informed. Stay prepared. Stay safe. We'll continue monitoring and updating as conditions evolve. See you in a couple days with the next update.